Oh shit. I dare you to f***ing crash into me, motherfucker. I fucking dare you. Oh shit, it's right here. Oh shit! We got some action, bro!
Now to South Texas, to a case involving Priscilla Villarreal, a woman labeled as a citizen journalist arrested over her Facebook postings.
Over here on the south, you know where, like, si te vienes por la Pine Street, como en la Pizza Hut?
This case could have major implications for citizen journalists and professional ones as well.
Desde aquí Lagordiloca reportando desde Ugarte y San Bernardo. They figured that this would shut me down, but what they did was create a monster. What I do, nobody dares to do.
Priscilla Villarreal is a celebrity here in the Texas border town of Laredo. She's an independent journalist who publishes videos under the byline Lagordiloca, which translates to the fat crazy lady.
Me gustan las handcuffs esas, tan brutas. Quiero unas de estas para mi cuarto.
Her work was at the center of a federal court case that's drawn national attention because of what it could mean for journalism and free speech. Her lawyers are hoping to take it to the Supreme Court.
I called city council members and I said, hey, you all need to fucking do something or I will. This city looks like shit. What the fuck do you think people, around other cities are gonna say, that we don't have our shit together?
Many years.
Aside from cussing a lot?
Oh, no. You know how we all are here, like. I mean, the cussing is your part.
You get scared by it?
Nah, actually, like I hear it and I see it and I'm like, damn, like she don't care. She don't care.
About that.
¿Qué rollo? Buenas tardes, saluditos. Aquí Lagordiloca reportándose desde
Barbaros Mensalon.
At night, it's a scavenger hunt. Scavenger hunt to find accidents, news to put in my social media page. I've gotten the attention of so many people doing what I do. I was known as being the gossip lady of the city. I noticed that the street was full of water. It popped right there. There's been a rollover accident here on Loring and Saunders. Prove me the fuck wrong. Prove me wrong. That what you all are doing is legit. Really? Yeah. Well, your son beat him up. Your son beat him up. Ese vato no sabe lo que acaba de hacer.
Villarreal's defense lawyer is Joey Tellez, an attorney here in Laredo.
We're 150 miles away from any other major town, and the traditional news media, print or television, they don't really do investigative journalism on the goings-on of local politicians, and she does a good job of it.
The event that has outraged free speech advocates and gained national attention occurred in 2017, when Villarreal spoke to a confidential source within the Laredo Police Department while reporting on a suicide and a fatal traffic accident. She was doing what journalists do: obtain information, corroborate it, and publish it. And yet, the cops arrested her for misuse of information, accusing her of violating an obscure Texas statute.
In Laredo, nobody had ever been arrested for that, and since has never been arrested under that statute.
That law criminalizes asking government officials for information that's not accessible to the public if the person asking is seeking personal gain. In this case, law enforcement claimed that she was gaining by building up her Facebook profile.
And when they asked, why was she arrested? Well, she gained followers. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And it's there, it's on paper. What was the gain? I got arrested because I got a gain. What was the gain? Followers and likes.
Villarreal says the real reason she was arrested is that the Laredo Police Department had it in for her.
They were just looking for something to arrest me. Because I was exposing the corruption. I was exposing, them being cruel to detainees. I was exposing so much things going and happening around the city with the police. They were doing things they weren't supposed to. I'm headed to Pine and Cabo San Lucas to go to the That's in this video doesn't stop.
The charges against Villarreal were ultimately dropped, but she sued on the grounds that the Laredo Police Department should know better than to arrest a journalist for her reporting. The lawsuit made it to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit, which ruled against Villarreal, finding that it was reasonable for the cops to arrest her and that she had no right to sue. The Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press called it, quote, a disastrous ruling for journalists' rights, and along with 21 news organizations, including the New York Times and the Washington Post, petitioned the Supreme Court to hear the case. Representing her would be the free speech advocacy group, the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, better known as FIRE. Greg Lukianoff is the CEO and president. So in the decision, the judge who wrote the opinion, Edith Jones, she said that people are portraying Villarreal as a martyr for the sake of journalism, and that is inappropriate. And then she goes on, those are her words, and then she goes on to make a distinction between Villarreal and mainstream legitimate outlets. Is that a fair distinction to make?
Yeah. I bristle at the idea that judges can draw a distinction that has any significant legal meaning between citizen journalists and journalists who work for bigger companies, which is really all you're saying. So I think that this is an elitist attitude, and I think it's part of the problem in the United States right now.
Why do you think it's important that the Supreme Court take this case?
To tell the world that essentially just because an individual judge doesn't consider you a legitimate journalist, that you still have the same free speech and First Amendment rights as a New York Times journalist. The rights of the many really do hang on the rights of the one. So if her rights can be violated, that means potentially that your rights could be as well.
Why is it so quiet? I don't get that. Okay, I see a couple there. Oh shit. I dare you to fucking crash into me, motherfucker. I fucking dare you. Oh shit, it's right here. Oh shit! We got some action, bro! Firearm out. Guys, Cesar. That's my ex-brother-in-law.
Oh my god.
I'm not even joking.
Are you serious?
That's my ex-brother-in-law. I'm not joking. Somebody call Lucy Castillo. I'm gonna get off. What do you do? He's my ex-brother-in-law. Did he steal the vehicle or what? Not surprised. Buenas noches. Ahorita en estos momentos nos encontramos aquí en la Conical de Santa Úrsula en Park, donde en estos momentos la policía detuvo a un hombre, se dice verdad, por robarse un carro. Do you know what the plates come back to?
Nope. I just know it was reported today.
Really?
Villarreal, who considers herself a citizen journalist, says that her competitors who work within traditional news organizations are handicapped. Like, why isn't the local press all over that kind of stuff? That's interesting to me.
I think because they're censored.
Right.
They can only put so much out there, and I don't have anybody to tell me you can't put that out there.
Right.
That's the difference.
But traditional news organizations also protect reporters from their worst instincts. Free speech advocacy groups see Villarreal's arrest as a clear violation of the First Amendment, but that doesn't necessarily make her an exemplar of good journalism. I went to New York City to sit down with James O'Keefe, another so-called citizen journalist, who filed an amicus brief in support of Villarreal's case, calling her arrest an outrageous abuse of power that could threaten the legality of his own work.
And I don't think they would probably do that to someone from NBC News or CBS News and the New York Times. There's certainly a different treatment towards the journalists, depending upon whether they're part of a legacy media institution.
O'Keefe's stock in trade is trying to expose people and organizations with hidden cameras. He first gained notoriety by secretly recording interactions with the left-wing advocacy group Acorn. The footage caused a national scandal and drove the organization into bankruptcy. What is the future of journalism? Is it someone like Priscilla Villarreal? Is it the mainstream media? What is it?
I think it's niche people doing niche work and individuals building their own communities. The individual has to be the organizational entrepreneur. So the individual doing the journalism has to carry a lot more water and wear a lot more hats. And I think you're going to see a grassroots uprising of talented citizen journalists that will become great. And that's what you're going to see, so stay tuned.
In 2010, O'Keefe pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor after secretly filming 2 of his associates dressed up as telephone repairmen in the office of Senator Mary Landrieu. Earlier this year, he secretly recorded a video of himself on what appears to be a date with a White House official, who talked about President Biden's mental decline and his dissatisfaction with Vice President Kamala Harris. He also shared on X the man's Tinder profile.
All journalism harms people. I mean, information harms people. Transparency harms people, but it's not about, you don't do it in order to harm people. You do it so the public knows what's going on.
Well, it all started with a phone call from James O'Keefe, and James, like you mentioned, is best known for...
In 2010, O'Keefe allegedly planned to seduce CNN journalist Abby Boudreau on a boat by enticing her to enter a, quote, palace of pleasure, while he secretly filmed. Boudreau was tipped off and the plan was thwarted. I'm really just trying to get at what journalistic purpose that served, that kind of sting. Is citizen journalism more about getting clicks and attention to monetize, or is it about pursuing the truth?
I think it's about pursuing the truth.
You do?
I think my track record speaks for itself on that, yes.
He tried to humiliate a CNN reporter by luring her onto a boat with porn, condoms, and fuzzy handcuffs so he could film a seduction act.
How did that go?
Well, the plot was foiled. But when you hear things like that, why is that something that anyone should feel strongly about preserving?
If you're getting into someone's premises by pretending to be someone who has a legal right to be there, that's potentially criminal. When it comes to trying to embarrass a CNN journalist, is it illegal to try to embarrass a CNN journalist? Of course it isn't. Did that fact coming out make him look great or make many people take him seriously? No.
Legacy media is really struggling these days. So how do you respond to people who say this departure from, I guess, journalistic norms is not an improvement and not something that we should be defending?
Legacy journalism has done a tremendous amount to shoot itself in the foot, and it's blaming everyone else for it not being taken very seriously anymore. If we actually have just a ton more of people innovating in the space of journalism, sure, there are going to be people who aren't very reliable, but I do think the entire public is waiting for people to raise their hands to say, no, I'm actually one of the people who's never going to lie to you. I'm going to be straight about it even if you don't like what I'm saying. And I think that is a curative to some of the problems of journalism that is currently being seen as a problem.
At one of our Stripe stores at the corner of Ugarte and San Bernardo, there's a robbery at a Stripe store. And hopefully we get there with the cops. So this is the store they robbed right now. This is the store that got robbed right now, but the units are going, oh shit, right here. Buenas noches, ahorita en estos momentos se reportó un robo aquí en la tienda Stripes en la esquina de Ugarte. Ya nomás se pasa a cierta hora y Laredo se apendeja, güey.
I mean, this is not the secret. I used to sell drugs, I used to do a lot of things that I wasn't supposed to. But when you have kids, things change.
Apple. Say blue. Pink. 1? No, 1. 1. Not 2 and 1. 1. Spider, run up the water spout. Out came the rain. Wash the spider. I'm a kid develop.
So, I've lost 3 kids. They were all born prematurely. When I lost my first child, she lived for 5 hours. And I held her in my arms. The traumatizing part of it was watching her take her last breath. But I climbed myself out of that hole. And with this work, the line of work that I do, I've seen so much. You know, now that I have my kids, you know, the way I think, the way I am is totally different. You know, I still do Lagordiloca, but not as much as I did before, you know. Back then it was an everyday thing. Every day.
How do you feel like losing 3 kids impacts who Lagordiloca is?
I don't think anything that happens after that can hurt me as much as that hurt me, if that makes any sense.
6.5 years since the arrest that's at the center of her First Amendment case, Villarreal's relationship with local law enforcement has improved considerably.
You know, whenever we're looking for anyone that's wanted for a crime, you know, I call her and she gives me information, which is, you know, information that's not going to put her in a predicament.
Another theme we've heard while we're here is that she often holds law enforcement accountable. Would you say that that's accurate? How do you respond to something like that?
I think that's accurate because she's even called me out on some of my stuff that may be happening, you know, at the jail or might be happening somewhere. And right away, I speak with the truth and I tell her, no, this is what's going on. You know, these are lies, you know, these are people making up things, and she understands that. And I tell her, I make sure that I tell Lagordiloca, I say, Lagordiloca, you're never gonna catch me lying, because I'm gonna tell you what it is.
I want to go to the Supreme Court. But my story is already in the history books. My story is out there, you know, and I want people to know that we all have rights.